This is about CA Final Advanced Auditing May 25 attempt related preparation strategy. Mainly, I'm going to talk about the 3/4 strategy, very famous 3/4 strategy, like what exactly a 3/4 strategy and how you should plan your preparation. And I'm going to talk about what are the amendments that are happened in for the May 25 attempt. Like Institute has added some new questions in every chapter, and especially some topics like NBFC and specialized areas has been modified. All that I'm going to talk about. So watch till the end. So don't conclude anything in between. And I'm also going to talk about the upcoming resources and the marathon class which I'm going to conduct very soon. That also I'm going to give details here briefly. Of course, for marathon related one, I'll separately once again do a video. So what is a 3/4 preparation strategy? First of all, what are the chapters where amendments happened? You know, we have been added with one chapter, we have been added with one standard called SEA 450. Earlier, see, in CA Final, literally speaking, all the standards are there in the syllabus, honestly. But, see, by the way, again, let us not discuss standards with a vague term. I'm talking about standards on auditing. We have totally 35 standards on auditing plus one quality control standard. Apart from that, 10 other standards that we have from specialized areas, review, assurance, related services, all put together. Totally, we are having 46 standards. Now, specialized areas is there, right? Here there is a standard. You see, specialized areas is there, right? This standard has been completely modified. This standard has been completely modified. Like entire 800 series. Entire 800 series is completely modified. The institute has redrafted the standards. Yes, in order to align with our SEA 700 series, the audit report format, everything, SEA 800 series also modified. Even if you look at my November 24 related marathon, that time itself I told regarding 800 series modification that is going to apply for May 25 exams. So specialized areas, so here there is a modification. 450 standard related content also included in the ICA material. SEA 450 related content is also included in ICA material, which is exactly copy pasted from CA Inter book. That's it. There's no change at all. In CA Inter we have 450. The same thing is copied even in CA Final. This is one more modification. Specialized areas, 3 standards were completely modified. Then coming to another chapter, NBFC amendments. No, actually there is no new amendment. In NBFC there is nothing new amendment. RBI has given in 2022 something called scale based regulations they gave. So in that regulations, some 3 or 4 regulations only were included that time in NBFC. Now all the regulations were included, especially provisioning norm, NPA norm, net owned funds norm. Full regulation has been copy pasted into our syllabus. Earlier we don't have full provision, now we are having full provision. This is one more modification. Apart from this, if you look at professional ethics, no amendment at all. But in professional ethics, if you look at ICI book, at the end of the ethics chapter, you will find a heading called Recent Ethical Standard Board Guidelines. You will find a heading called Recent Ethical Standard Board decisions. Those decisions, some extra 7 or 8 decisions were added. This is one more change. Like, let me list out what are the changes happen. 800 series. 800 series is newly issued. SEA 450, which is already there in CA, the same thing is copy pasted. And NBFC audit, scale based regulations were changed. And even in bank audit, we have a topic called how to audit assets and liabilities audit. Inside that, at some places new points were added. That's it. It's not a major change at all. It's a very, very minor change. Then coming to ethics, what change happened in ethics is recent decisions of ethical standard boards. The decisions, the list is updated with some 6 to 8 items. Some list is updated. That's it. Technically, this is not at all a major amendment. Honestly speaking, for me, 800 series is a major amendment according to me in CA Final Audit. 450 standard, which is already there in our syllabus, honestly speaking. Just that earlier institute used to say refer CA Inter book. Now they are copy pasted into CA Final. So damn sure I can expect, I am thinking they might be testing a question from 450 standard for sure, which is a simple standard. Coming to 800 series, 800 series, no, 800, 805, 810, all the 3 standards have been completely redrafted. They have given a new standard altogether. So this is a major amendment. But remember, the 800 series weightage itself is, 800 series weightage itself is hardly 4 marks. Getting it? Hardly 4 marks, worst case 6 marks. NBFC audit, hardly the weightage is 4, worst case 6 marks. In the November attempt itself, for the first time from NBFC, some 6 or 7 marks were 7 marks were tested, that too through MCQs. Some 2 MCQs were tested and 1 descriptive question, all put together some 7 or 8 marks only came. From NBFC and bank audit put together, the total weightage was 12 marks, I remember. Getting it? That's it. So ethics, of course, you all know very well, 12 to 14 marks is the minimum weightage, sometimes even 18 marks also will come. Fine. These are the changes first, what are all happened. Students, many of the CA final students are worried about what changes happened, amendments, what amount. Come on. It's not at all a major amendment at all. Hardly the weightage, that entire amendment, this entire amendments put together carry a maximum weightage of 10 marks, that too if tested in exam. See, 4 marks from 800 series pakka will be tested. So from amendments, 4 marks pakka. SEF 450, I am 50-50 confident. Whether they will test or they will not test, we don't know, because at CA Inter it is tested every time. But in CA final, we don't know, because at CA final, this is not such a major standard to be discussed. Getting it? Then coming to NBFC, obviously there is a possibility of 4 marks question. Bank audit, obviously there is a possibility of descriptive or maybe an MCQ question. And of course ethics is no doubt important. So this is my stand regarding amendments. Now let's not talk about amendments first. Let's understand actually what is the strategy of preparation for CA final audit. What strategy you should follow so that the coming May 25 exams with utmost smart work you can clear it. Now coming to this 3/4 preparation strategy. See, I always tell people, don't study 100% of the syllabus with a moderate clarity. Study 70 to 75% of the syllabus with extraordinary clarity, extraordinary command. And that is proven in the recent November attempt also. In the November attempt, many students know what they thought. Audit paper was very moderate and less than moderate. It's easier, straight questions. But most of them were C category questions. You just cross check. How do you think from SES 610 documentation question will be asked? Nobody would have given that in expected questions or A category questions, nowhere. Many questions are from C category questions. Many questions were picked in between, straight questions. They're very straight, they're very easy. But the point is, the probability that a student write them in a correct manner, in a complete correct answer, the probability of writing a correct and complete answer is very low. And you know very well, now institute valuation is very much standardized. What is standardized? Like examiner will be given, so valuation, scheme of valuation, suggested answer. In that, for example, a 4 marks question is there. It will have some 5 points. In each point, what keywords were there, they'll highlight. How institute will give marks, for example, assurance engagement, this is there. Suppose if the student used the word PFI correctly, then half mark allocate. If ESG word is used, then allocate half mark. Like that in the answer. So in the answer, some 5 points were there. Specific words will be selected by the institute. If those words, if those phrases were there, then only allocate half mark, half mark, half mark. Like that, 4 out of 4 you will get. Suppose if you're writing answer in your own language, or you studied some most simplest material. See, I'll tell you this point. For example, recently I made CA Inter income tax book. Simplest way I did. Like what you will see in the ICA book, what is there in the income tax book, what is there in my book, you don't even find correlation at all. But it is much simplified than ICA, much super, like readability, comfort, convenient, vagueness, everything is removed. But it's a practical paper, my dear. In the exam, they will not ask you to write the provision. They will ask you to apply the provision and solve the problem. So in a practical paper, we will have highest amount of flexibility to change the the way ICA given the provision, the way we write the provision in our book, we can altogether change it. ICA gave some 3-4 pages content for one particular section. We gave it in half page. Getting it? That can be done in taxation paper, but cannot be done in auditing. In auditing, why we cannot do, if we give 2 lines, if you study 2 lines, you produce 1 line in exam. If you study itself 1 line, what you will produce? Half or less than half. Then generally that's how the human retention works. Whatever we study, we generally produce 60 to 70% of it. That too if you extraordinarily study. If you study itself is 50%, which is a short notes, how much you will produce in the exam? That's why coming to audit subject, I highly discourage people to go behind too much shortcut materials. See, we can reduce the content to some extent. We cannot altogether change the content. What is there in the ICA book and what is there in your book, in the book which you are following, it should not be altogether different. ICA book is nothing. This is, see how simple it is. If at all you are getting this feeling, means that's a very risky book. Even now, very soon I'm going to modify my CA final audit material, CA inter audit material both, where you compared to ICA material, it is very good, but it is not so simple. If at all ICA material is 100 on 100 difficulty level, my material will be 60 to 70. It will be not like what are the materials available in the market, like 30, 40. ICA material 100, this material is 30. Score will also be like that only. So in auditing, that will not work. In a practical paper like FR, even not even FR also nowadays it is not working. AFM it can be done. Direct tax it can be done. IDT it can be done. Because problematic papers, there it can be done. Material can be substantially can be modified, but audit paper we can't. Why? Because the suggested answer, the examiner value based on the certain phrases, examiner value based on the certain words. Weightage is given for those phrases and for those words. If your answer do not contain that, no matter, even if your answer is right, even if your answer is logical, you don't get a mark. This is the first thing you should remember. Then, so coming to what is a 3/4 preparation strategy? Again, I'm actually skipping the main point. 3/4 strategy. I selected some points. I selected here certain chapters. What are they? Risk assessment and internal control, audit planning strategy, NBFC, bank audit, due diligence, forensic, investigation, audit of PSU. Straight away, leave these chapters. Don't touch them. Wait, don't conclude. Sir, what about MCQ comes? Wait, I'll clarify. I know, all your questions, I know. These chapters, do not touch them. Okay, sir, what should I do now? Remaining all other chapters are there right here. Fundamentals, that is something which I give. Audit report, professional ethics, standards on auditing. Suppose if you open ICA study material, you don't find a chapter called standards on auditing. In ICA material, it is nothing but actually 1, 2, 3, 4 standard. 1, 2, 3, 4 chapters. Whatever is there in the ICA book, 1, 2, 3, 4 chapters, I gave it as a standards on auditing. That's it. Remaining standards were covered by me in audit report. And specialized areas 800 series, related services 2000 series, assurance 3000 series, review 2000 series, related services 4000 series, assurance 3000 series, internal audit, group audit, SDG and ESG, digital audit. These all chapters you must and should study. Here I want to give one option to you. Digital audit, no, the possibility of scoring good amount is very high. Very low. The possibility of scoring is very least, because this chapter is a bit tough. It's not that easy to reproduce most of the terminology in the chapter. For you, those of you who feel digital audit is tough, no, I will ask you to swap the chapters. Bank audit, NBFC audit, you keep it here. Digital audit, you keep it in the last priority. This is best advice I can give. But many students know, since digital audit is a newly added chapter in the new scheme, pakka question will come. Pakka question will come from NBFC bank audit also. Both put together 7-8 marks. And I'm telling you, the amount of time you put to study and retain, the amount of time you put to watch the class, revise it and retain it. If digital audit takes the digital audit process take approximately some, I can say 14 to 18 hours it will take. The same amount of time is what bank audit. Maximum it will take some 2-3 hours extra, maximum 20. But you know what? In digital audit, the weightage is 5 marks max. Whereas in bank and NBFC, the weightage is 8 marks. And one more thing I will tell you. In digital audit, even if the question is 5 marks, the possibility of scoring 5 out of 5, the probability of scoring 5 out of 5 is less than 50%. Whereas here, 8 out of 8, the probability of scoring is more than 70%. The time that you are giving for digital audit, if you are giving the time for bank audit and NBFC, mark my word guys, there is a high possibility of scoring, because the vagueness in bank audit and the vague and confusion in NBFC audit is very low compared to digital audit. Digital audit is very vague, very confusing. Clarity, you don't get a command, because they talk about blockchain technology, how blockchain technology is affecting the audit process, all that they're talking, which we never see in our real life. We can't even correlate when you're reading. As a faculty itself, I'm telling you, there are some topics in the subject. One, PSU audit, for example. PSU audit, we never do this. Government company audit is different. I'm talking about PSU audit, performance audit, proprietary audit, all this. This is done by C&AG department. IIAD people, they do. IIAD, Indian Accounts and Audit Department will be there. Inside that, IAS officers will be heading this. So they do this entire audit. Their team will do, audit boards will be there. They do the audit. We chartered accountants never do performance audit. We never do proprietary audit. We never do, financial audit in government. That's completely different. This is something, whatever they're discussing is completely foreign to us. So that's why I selected chapters in such a way which are little dry, which are vague, which are difficult to score into last priority chapter. Even though you spend lot of time, the possibility of scoring is very tough. What are the chapters I kept in first priority? Except digital audit, rest all other chapters, vagueness is very low. Confusion is low. Getting command is much easy. Scoring probability is very high. One topic, digital audit, I sincerely request everybody to keep it in the last priority. NBFC audit and bank audit, keep it in the first priority. That is best I think I can say. You know, this particular file, you can download it in our websites. Rest of our CSMA free resources is there. Inside that you can download this file. I will in fact ask my team to swap these two chapters and then put it. That's best, I think. That's best. Bank and NBFC audit, digital audit, swap it. So first priority chapters, what are they? Audit report, ethics, standards, nothing but in ICA book first 4 chapters, specialized area, related, assurance, review, internal, group audit, SDG, bank audit, NBFC audit. Mark my word guys, if you are perfect in these chapters, which is very much easy to get, perfection in these chapters, no matter how hard the paper, no matter how very tough or very advanced, very unexpected paper, it doesn't matter. You will attempt for 75 to 80 marks confidently and come back. That assurance I can give you. Now, coming to, you know, right now actually, you know, there is an offer which is going on. Okay, right now there is an offer which is going on. CA final audit, my course is a regular course, which I am charging only 6,000 rupees with the books. With the books, it is only 6,000 rupees, where you get 1.5 view, 1.2 view, 5 months validity. Remember, 1.2 view, don't think it is insufficient. One view itself is more than enough. Why? Because many a times I repeat. In the class itself, I explain conceptually, I repeat the, you know, I read the book and then also explain. I first give you contextual explanation, conceptual explanation, then I repeat multiple times. So literally you don't require 1.2 view. One sincere request is, those of you who are enrolling into this batch, please watch only at standard speed. Getting it? My entire class is approximately 130 to 135 hours it will be there, plus some 15 hours of question bank and revision videos will be there. So in the class itself, we do question bank solving also. And one more thing, by the way, forgot to tell you, in the new material, many new questions were added. No, every chapter, they are all covered in our book. Majority they are covered in our book. In our book, we covered majority. There are new questions for those who don't know. We covered in our question bank. They're actually past RTP, MTP questions were added as new questions. That's it. No major change at all. That's it. Now, sir, what about the amendments material? Is your material amended? Suppose if I take this class, will I get the amended material or not? No. You will get my previous version material only. NBFC audit, specialized areas, wherever amendments were happened, and the additional questions which are added by ICANO, those 3 I will make into one PDF and will release it by February mid. February 13th or 14th or 15th before I will be releasing it. I will come up with one more video on that and I will be releasing it. So if you are perfect on that, that's enough. And those who are enrolling into this course, I have given list of videos to be watched. In that I anyhow kept pending. Like I told very clearly, watch this at last. So except amendments, rest all other syllabus is exactly same, intact, no changes at all. That's it. So this is 3/4 strategy. So what you have to follow, and I hope with respect to audit, you understood what should be done. Now, how you should do it, how you should pass in the exam. Even I'm telling you guys, you can even enroll into this course blindly. Almost till now, from December 26th till now, 650 students enrolled, close to. Actually 620 or 630, it crossed close to 650 students enrolled till now. Only almost in the past 1 month. Getting it? Because everybody want to get clarity and command so that they can perform with a less risk in audit. So I'm going to continue this offer. As I told, up to 1500 students I thought of retaining, but what I decided, another 1 month I'll sell it only at 6,000 rupees. Later I'm going to make it at 6,500, and 1.2 or probably 1.4 some view I'll put with a 6 months validity. From March 1st onwards, I'm going to keep it in our website itself at so and so price, 6,500 or maybe 6,750. We'll see, so that our cost and overhead will be recovered, plus of course a reasonable amount of margin. Getting it? So in such a way we give, so that those who are repeaters especially can buy at these prices. Okay, that's it. So I spoke about the strategy to be followed. I spoke about the chapters. I spoke about the amendments. I spoke about the PDF which I'm going to give. I spoke about the course which I'm going to offer at a discounted price right now. So the choice is yours. Decide carefully. Don't risk with very short notes. Look at the notes, compare with ICA notes, see is it reasonably simplified or oversimplified. Oversimplification is always dangerous in theory papers like audit, theory papers like law. Getting it? Oversimplification is extreme dangerous, I'm telling you. If at all the material is oversimplified, that's not at all trustworthy material. You may say that, sir, my seniors qualified on that, my friends also qualified on that. Sometimes it works for them. How many have qualified? Out of 100, only 15 qualified. How many of them have followed that material out of it again? So 85 failed, that also you see. Able to understand? 80% failed, that also you see. If you follow a right material, the probability of success is very high, and the best material is ICA material. Nothing can beat. No material in the market can beat ICA material. You feel it is lengthy. Only when you start reading it with a proper understanding, you understand it's very easy. People who feel difficult of any material is because they conceptually don't understand. They do not understand conceptual. They don't have conceptual clarity. That's why they only judge a book based on the letter, but not based on their understanding. That's it. Okay. So take care. All the very best.